Here's the problem nobody wants to talk about. For nearly 50 years, Alien has followed one unspoken rule. Humanity encounters the Xenomorph at the edges of existence. Not here, not home. At the far ends of space. On distant worlds, on forgotten ships, in places where help cannot reach you. And that matters, because the fear isn't just the creature, it's the isolation. No backup, no escape, no witnesses, you're on your own, and that's the point. Putting the Xenomorph on Earth doesn't just change the setting. And yeah, I know, new setting sounds exciting, but it changes the meaning of the monster. Because once it's here, once it's walking around the same planet as us, the question stops being can we survive and becomes wait, why didn't this change everything? And that brings us to the first canon problem. Timing. Alien Earth takes place before the original 1979 film, which means humanity encounters the Xenomorph earlier than we were ever led to believe. But go back and watch Alien. No one talks like this is a known species. There's no protocol, no history, no nervous, we've seen this before energy. The creature is treated like something impossible, something unprecedented, and if Earth has already seen it, that reaction just doesn't line up. Which leads directly to the second issue, and this one's hard to ignore: collective amnesia. If the most lethal organism ever discovered made it to Earth, there would be scars, records, conspiracies, people arguing about it online. Entire religions would probably form around it. And yet, by the time of Ripley, it's like none of that ever happened. The franchise now has to explain not just how humanity survived, but how it forgot. And forgetting something like this is a tall order. The third problem is Weyland Yutani. In the original films, the company is dangerous because it's curious, obsessed, willing to sacrifice people chasing something it doesn't fully understand. But Alien Earth pushes that knowledge way earlier. The company doesn't stumble into evil anymore, it walks into it with open eyes. That changes the moral framing. Weyland Yutani stops being reckless and starts being fully complicit, which quietly rewrites the entire saga retroactively. Fourth, and this is the biggest one, Earth removes isolation. Alien horror depends on confinement. Tight quarters, limited oxygen, nowhere to run, no cavalry coming over the hill. Earth has governments, militaries, infrastructure. Even if the story says those systems fail, and they probably will, the idea that they exist changes how fear works. The Xenomorph goes from cosmic nightmare to containment problem. And once you can imagine containment, the terror shrinks. Finally, there's the most dangerous rewrite of all. The Xenomorph becomes a known quantity. More familiar it becomes, the less mythic it feels. In the original films, the creature feels like nature itself turning against you. Something ancient, perfect, and unknowable. On Earth, it risks becoming just another weapon, another biothreat, another thing humanity thinks it can manage. And Alien has always punished that belief. Now look, Alien Earth is pretty darn good. I mean, it even borderlines being brilliant. But here's the problem. The franchise has crossed a line it can never uncross. Once the monster comes home, you can't send it back into the dark. You can't make it unknown again, and you can't pretend we were never warned. Alien works best when the universe feels bigger than us, when the monster doesn't belong, and when humanity's greatest mistake is believing it does. And this is where I'll be honest. This is where my disappointment kicks in. Because if you're going to put the Xenomorph on Earth, then someone has to pay for it. That's the deal. Alien has never been about close calls and lucky escapes. It's all about consequences. Permanent ones. People die. People are broken. Entire crews disappear. If nobody important dies, if nobody is permanently changed, then what was the point of bringing the nightmare home in the first place? Alien isn't scary because it chases people. It's scary because it takes something every time it appears. And if Earth survives its first encounter without a real cost, then the Xenomorph doesn't feel like a force of nature anymore. It feels manageable, and once it feels manageable, it stops being alien.